You're listening to Substation Gaming Podcast. I'm Black Chestnut. With me, I have Ricola.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about not E3.
Yeah.
The Summer Games
The,
Fest, I guess.
the Jeff Keighley spectacular.
Yeah, not E3. The best not E3 you can get at any summer event related to video games or something. I don't know.
I mean, it was probably better than some of the E3s we've had in the past.
I guess.
We haven't had the Nintendo show yet, so we can't completely judge, but...
Yeah. As of right now, Nintendo has announced Xenoblade Direct.
Yeah.
They might do more later.
Yeah, I don't know what they got up their sleeve. I don't know.
Who knows? But yeah, overall, how did you feel about it? Events,
I felt differently about each event.
Yes. So overall, how did you feel?
Fine.
Yeah, I thought it was meh.
Yeah.
Overall,
I don't know.
There was definitely a lot of cool indie games.
I don't think I was totally bored during any of the shows I watched.
I was definitely super bored during Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, no, trust me, if you watched that one live, that was a big snooze fest. I'll tell you that much.
And I did not watch the PC Gamer show.
Yeah, there's a reason why I only uploaded 2 minutes of my 2.5 hour reaction to that thing.
Wow, it was that bad.
Yeah. There was one exciting trailer, yeah.
Summer Games Fest on their splash page for it, they had the engineer, and I was like, oh man, it's gonna be TF2 news, and there wasn't.
Yeah,
so
that was the PC gaming show, which I didn't even put on the list because I didn't watch it either.
As far as I'm concerned, nothing happened.
Yeah, no, nothing happened. It's the PC gaming show. They never announced anything. Yeah. The first event that happened was Sony's event, and I struggled to remember what was shown off.
Yeah, we got Resident Evil 4 Remake, which they went more into depth for the Capcom event. We'll talk about that when we get to Capcom.
I think the reason why I struggle to remember everything they showed off is because 80% of the stuff they showed off was followed up on later at another event, a few days later, with way more detail, right?
Yeah.
They showed off a trailer for Street Fighter V. That was in the Capcom event as well. Yeah, you're right. I don't know why. I just like to forget that Street Fighter V ever existed. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's sad. 5's finally become a pretty good game with all the DLC and stuff, and it's cheap now, and now 6 comes along and kills it forever. It's pretty funny.
Good. 6 honestly looks a lot better in my opinion. Just off my first initial impressions, I think it looks a lot better.
Do you want to talk about Street Fighter 6? Because that was at
we
this
can talk
event,
about it a bit. Yeah, it was at the Sony event.
All right.
Why not?
Well, the presentation is freaking spectacular. I think this is the best looking Street Fighter game since Third Strike.
Well, they brought back the not necessarily brought back, but they did the thing where in the loading screen before the fight you can make your characters do funny faces like in Soul Calibur 2.
Go nuts.
Yeah, just like in Soul Calibur 2.
Nice. That's gonna be fun and online, just people smashing it.
Mm-hmm.
But that visual style where it's kind of like Street Fighter 4's, where Street Fighter 4 was kind of kanji and calligraphy inspired.
Yeah.
Where it was splotches of black paint. This one it's splotches of rainbow paint.
Yeah. This is a Jack what's his name? The artist who did the splotch paintings, Oh, Jack and Pollock, I think his name is.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, something like that. Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
See, it's the game could look lame because it looks like the models have look kind of grayer and desaturated, but with those splashes of color during the fights, it just looks so cool.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how the free roaming mode is gonna shape up,
Yeah, I wonder if that's just a hub thing, or if that's part of the story, or I don't know.
I don't know. I know there was like leaks for the game or something, and like Ken got divorced and his wife took the kids or something like
Wow.
that. Yeah, he got Asgard.
Oof. Oof. Well, Asgard's the most divorced guy, probably in fiction.
Yeah.
Like,
I like how we could just use Asgard's name as for like guy who got divorced and she took the kids.
Yeah. Even in Undertale, where she didn't take the kids, it still works.
Yeah, she would have taken the kids if they weren't already dead.
Oof. The whole roster for 6 has gotten leaked. All the new characters look really cool.
Yeah,
I can't describe them off the top of my head, but they're neato. Sadly, apparently Sakura's not in a new roster, so I'm gonna have to wait for the DLC.
yeah,
Or I'm gonna have to learn Ken.
yeah.
Ugh, I don't want to learn Ken.
Yeah, I can't believe Scorpion's not in the roster.
Oh, what a disgrace. I mean, they have a final fight character as like a main character in here, so
Yeah, but they're in the same universe.
yeah. Is Street Fighter X Tekken, were they in the same universe? Or I'm wondering if it was just like, they just happen to have never interacted.
Yeah. That reminds me that
Oh, wait.
Tekken X Street Fighter never actually came out.
Oh wait, they are in the same universe, because Akuma is in Tekken 7.
Right.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. They are canon with each other now, and that is just... Oh no, Street Fighter X Tekken came out.
It did?
Didn't it?
No, Tekken
Yeah,
X Street Fighter.
Oh, are they not the same game?
They're not the same game. One was
Okay.
you know, a Street Fighter game with Tekken characters, and the other one was a
Yeah.
Tekken game with Street Fighting characters. And the
Okay,
Tekken
yeah, we
game with
got
Street
this...
Fighting characters never came out.
Yeah, we got the Street Fighter of Tekken character.
Yeah.
Confusing. Um,
Uh,
yeah.
There's another game showed off at the Sony event. It was rollerblades and guns. That one looked
Yeah. Yeah, that just looked neat.
cool. Yeah. I like momentum-based shooters.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's getting real literal with the momentum, isn't it?
See, Shadow the Hedgehog could have been really good if the shooting wasn't bad.
I don't know. That game would be pretty slow if you had to aim.
No, that's the best part. Going fast and aiming is the best part.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never had to go fast and do loop-de-loops while shooting people.
That's why it's awesome.
There's probably a Quake map out there that has loop-de-loops. I'll try playing that.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
Mm.
Was there really anything else? I mean, there was a sci-fi horror game.
Right.
Wow.
We saw more of that at the Summer Games Fest a couple days later.
See, like,
It
I
had
didn't even
like
bother.
the same trailer, but it was extended.
Wow. I didn't
And
even bother
then-
checking those out.
Yeah. I guess we can just move on to the Summer Games Fest then, because that's a decent segue. The Summer Games Fest had a dozen and a half games that were all just Dead Space.
Which is weird, because we're getting the Dead Space remake.
Yeah.
Like, if they were filling a void, but now we're getting a Dead Space game, so what does it matter?
Yeah. But like, I think the game was called the Callisto Protocol.
Yeah, that was the
Right?
one that was at State of Play.
Yeah, that was at the State of Play. They had an extended showing of it at Summer Games Fest. And according to Summer Games Fest, I think they said it was being made by ex-Dead Space devs.
Yeah,
So,
because they're
a lot
not
of the
working on a
games
Dead
that worked
Space
on it.
remake. It's a totally
Yeah.
new studio for that.
Yeah, because
So-
the EA shut down their studio, you know. And so
'Cause
they
EA
went to
does
form a new studio, of course, because that's how things roll in the game industry.
Yeah.
And so now they're making this, which is just a spiritual successor to Dead Space.
I mean, Dead Space is good. I got my eye on it. If I
Yeah.
hear it's good things about it, I'll check it out.
I mean, it definitely looks like Dead Space. I can tell you that much.
Yeah,
And it looks
I like Dead
fine,
Space. It's
you know?
it's a Resident Evil game in space, pretty much.
More or less, yeah.
Where it's more focused. Combat's less in animal conservation and more dismemberment, which is
Yeah.
fun.
Which is also similar to how Resident Evil 2 Remake handled it.
Oh yeah, it did do that, where that was a big part with like the regular zombies. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, I don't know.
I think it'll be decent. I was just
Yeah,
like
well,
the event was very bland in a lot of ways because there were so many games set in space. And like of those games set in space, 80% of them were horror games, you know?
and
And
not even an alien game, shockingly,
yeah,
right?
there
Did we?
was one alien game, but that
Okay, let's
one
take.
was actually like a top-down co-op shooter apparently. Cuz they had like a big CG trailer for it, right? And it
Mm.
was all like ooh, spooky horror, aliens, xenomorphs and stuff.
Oh.
And then the last 10, 20 seconds of it showed off actual gameplay and it was a top-down shooter.
See, I would have watched it and be like, "Ooh, are they gonna do another isolation?" And then I would have gotten sad. So glad I didn't see it. I,
Yeah.
like during the premiere.
It probably would have been way more confusing because
Yeah,
I was confused. I was like, "Oh, it's a top-down shooter?" Okay.
there's so many alien games. Throw another one in the pile. Why not?
Eh. I
Get,
mean,
like,
to be fair, like as this trailer was going on, I was really worried it was going to be more of another Alien Colonial Marines as
didn't
opposed
we
to an
just
Alien
no wait?
Isolation, you know?
Didn't we just get a new Colonial Marines game that didn't suck last year? Actually, I'm
I
trying
don't
to
know.
think. You know, not the Gearbox one. It's not that. But I swear we got another alien game last year because I mean, no other franchise makes itself into a video game as well as that series. I'll be real. Like, you
I
can
mean,
make it full on action or survival horror, and it'll be just as true to the
that's
series, and it
true.
works. And they've been ripping it off since the NES of like Contra. So,
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could
so
also say like Evil Dead in the same sense, you know?
oh yeah. I mean, Doom is just Evil Dead and Alien ripoff at the same time.
Kinda, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of unique enough in its own thing, you know?
And yeah, it does the hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Doom did start as Aliens game. That is true.
Yeah.
That they just changed it. And they're like, you know what? That's lame. Let's do demons and make it badass.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Quake and Doom are like literally such the same series. It's kind of insane, you know? There's like so nothing different about them, really, if you
Yeah.
think about it.
Well, oh yeah. Quake is just Doom, but now there's verticality.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Quake is just better Doom, to be fair. In a lot of ways, you know?
Technologically, I probably enjoy Doom more.
I love Quake, so
I do love
being able to
hopping.
aim up is like a godsend.
Yeah, it really is. Doom's auto aim kind of sucks.
Yeah. And it's like I find Quake's levels a lot less confusing just because they are real 3D and not fake 3D, you
Yeah,
know? So
yeah.
I can
Quake works on even a map.
you know, I can figure out where the hell I'm going a lot easier. I don't get lost like I would in Doom, you know?
Yeah. Quake doesn't even have a map, and you don't even realize while playing.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of crazy to think about because it's like level design wise, they're the exact same, right?
Yeah,
But one is way less confusing than the other just because it's using real 3D, you know, as
yeah.
opposed to pseudo fake 3D, you know.
That and I'd argue the level designers had just gotten a lot better just because they had a
That's
shit ton of
true.
practice by that
You
point.
know, you do have to remember that these two franchises were made by literally the exact same people.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
read the whole book, Masters of Doom, just about their development. The stories
they're
behind those games,
you know titans
fucking
of the
insane.
industry. They're only like some of the most important game developers in all of human history.
And we should do a commentary on Doom or something sometime. I have a lot to
hell
talk
yeah.
about that. I can go off about Doom for hours.
Yeah. We'll definitely have to do that.
Yeah, but
I know. I just played through Doom 1 recently,
Oh,
and I
sick.
had an absolute blast.
Nice.
I know, that
Steam
was
port, I assume?
yeah, it was a
Nitty-Gritty
Steam port. It was really good.
Okay, yeah.
It was a
It's a good
really
port.
good port. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I actually had way more fun with it than I expected. I was like, damn, this is actually fucking goated.
Yeah, Doom 1 goes hard, and Doom 1 doesn't even have the super shotgun.
Yeah. Oh, I'm talking about Quake 1, but yeah.
Oh yeah, well, Quake 1, yeah, you said Doom, but oh yeah, I forgot the Quake Steam port's even better than the
Yeah.
Doom Steam port.
Yeah. Did I say Doom? I meant Quake.
Yeah. Yeah, Quake kicks ass.
Yeah.
Quake 2 is not as good. I still like Quake 2, but it's not as good.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Because
Quake
John
1
Romero's
was
gone.
really good.
But yeah.
I know that was a bit off topic because we were talking about the
Because
Summer Games
we were
Fest.
so bored by Summer Games Fest, we had to talk about good games. We
Yeah.
did see Witchfire, right? We finally
Yes, we did. And it's coming out on, I think, in early access or something. It's apparently now it's an Epic Game exclusive.
I don't care.
Me neither. I don't really care either. I'm still getting it.
I don't like opening Epic games because I don't keep it like installed.
Yeah.
The launcher, but you know, I'll install it if I want to play something on there. I don't care.
Yeah.
But
I would care more if it was a game I intended to play with a controller. But since it's a game I intend to play with mouse and keyboard anyway, I don't really care.
Yeah, that and I have my GOG. GOG has a feature where you can just link your Epic Games library, so I don't ever even open up Epic. I just open up GOG and look.
Anytime I want to play an Epic Games exclusive game, I just buy it on Epic and then I install it and then I run it through Steam. Using that non-Steam game feature
I love that
Steam.
feature. Where you can just add any exe to Steam.
Yeah, it's just because like otherwise, like because like Epic just doesn't have any fucking controller support at all.
That's weird.
It's terrible. Like I tried to play what was the game? Axiom Verge 2, right? Because it was an Epic exclusive. Wanted to play it with my like PS5 controller, right?
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get it to work with Epic. You know, I had to run it through Steam in order to get the controller to support to work.
Yeah.
And thank God Steam has like amazing controller support.
Oh yeah, it's solid.
You know?
I'm not a huge fan of it because I prefer to just use DS4 Windows, which just, you know, makes my controllers work with anything, and Steam conflicts with that, so that annoys me. But if I'm not using that, yeah, Steam's stuff's a godsend.
Yeah.
Especially because you can, people can post setups and stuff, so you don't even have to like configure stuff. You just be like, oh, here's the Steam guide. Okay, click on something, boom, your controller totally works now. Yeah, I'm surprised Epic hasn't done anything like that. But Witchfire being early access has me a little worried, but at the same time, I think it could work if it's something more in the format of stuff like the games Dusk and Hrot.
Yeah, and like Ultra Kill, where it's like they do them in chapters and stuff like that.
Yeah. Release them like episodically.
Yeah, I think that could work.
That works really well for also like the shooter because I mean that's how like stuff like Quake was designed. You know,
exactly. You do one campaign and then you do the next campaign follow.
Yeah,
you know,
it works good.
Yeah, I think that could work.
Just come back every few months. I like that. I hope Witchfire does something similar. I hope it's just not here's the entire game, but it's not finished.
Right.
That would just be really unexciting.
That would be really annoying. Yeah. Especially since we've been waiting so long to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other stuff shown off in Summer Games Fest. There was another space game following the space theme, but this one was an RTS. Sadly, they did not show off any footage of it.
Oh.
It was just a CG trailer. That was like another problem overall with the Summer Games Fest. Is that like 90% of the shit was all CG trailers. There was basically no gameplay. You know?
Gotta give it to the Xbox event for having a ton of gameplay, by the way.
Oh yeah. Like, I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Xbox event. That one was way better than I see a lot of people.
Actually, the Xbox event was... I don't remember, like, all the things on top of it, but in terms of just how, like, well done it was, like, genuinely one of the best, like, non-Nintendo E3 events I've ever seen, if I'm gonna be honest. Even if it wasn't... There wasn't, like, any games I was, like, insane about. It was just a good show. I was never bored.
Yeah. It's like, was it, like, everything great? Not necessarily, but at least it had a decent amount of variety.
Yeah, and everything was good. I don't think there was like they didn't spend like 20 minutes on anything like boring. Like they kept it moving pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not like the Summer Games Fest, which I didn't watch. It wasn't 2 hours and 30 minutes.
I don't think I don't remember exactly how long it was, but it was way too long.
If it was over 90 minutes, that's pushing it. That's too long.
I think it was 2 hours.
Yeah, 90 minutes is pushing it. Like honestly, for me, for a thing like this, like it was 240, get in and out.
It was kind of disappointing because like you watch through the Summer Games Fest, right, and then after that, there's like a 30-minute indie presentation, which which is Day of the Devs, which is the indie showcase event run by the Double Fine guy. I'm blanking on his name.
Tim Schafer.
Tim Schafer, right? It's run by Tim Schafer. This was its 10-year anniversary, right?
Okay.
It's been going on for 10 years. It's the longest running indie showcase live stream event, right?
Okay.
And they showed off a lot of cool games in the Day of the Devs.
Anything?
Yeah, there was like this one game where you play as like a little shadow creature and you're jumping between shadows and stuff. That was cool. And it's like I kind of don't remember a lot of what they showed off, to be honest, though, just because after slugging through the Summer Games Fest, I was only kind of half paying attention to the Day of the Devs, thing.
Yeah, I feel you.
Which sucks because I'm sure everything shown off there was like way better than all the shit that was shown off in the other one.
It's tragic.
I should go back and rewatch a lot of the indie dev events because I didn't really watch them and I wish I did.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? It's just Summer Games Fest cursed you.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they had the Goat Simulator 3 trailer. It was very funny.
It was really funny.
Yeah, it was easily the best thing in the entire thing. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean overall, like Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest.
For like those 2 Dead Island fans who got really excited for 3 seconds.
Yeah. But like, you know who I feel really bad for? I feel bad for the people who paid tickets to go see the Summer Games Fest in IMAX theaters.
Oh my god.
Jeff Keighley did that. There was people
that's insane.
Who paid money. Hopefully not too many. But I feel really bad for anyone who did that.
Yeah, well, what a ripoff.
Like, god damn. I mean, like...
I mean, E3 was already a ripoff if you, like, went to it in person, but...
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're going to it in person, odds are you were doing that as, like, your job.
Yeah. I mean, for years, until a couple of years ago, they didn't let you in if you were to press.
Yeah.
They just started selling tickets a few years ago.
Yeah, because
and I mean,
they're like, why not make more money? Well.
Yeah. Yeah, the only reason to go there, like, would be to play demos. And I mean, a lot of companies don't even have demos for their games there, so it's like...
Yeah, but all the ones you care about do. Namely Nintendo. And, like, Nintendo's, like, show floor E3 booths were always cool as fuck, so, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, compared this year's Summer Games Fest live to last year's, it was terrible. Like, last year's had, like, Weezer and Elden Ring. But this year's had, like,
there's
5
no Elden
games.
Ring, just got nothing. It's
got
nothing.
Yeah. It's like this one had 5 different Dead Space games. And Goat Sim. And I don't remember anything else. So let's move on to the Volver digital event.
Yeah, this was they didn't show a lot of games, but all the games looked really cool and it was a fun event.
Yeah, this one I was thoroughly enjoyed. It was very funny.
Yeah.
I found the humor most hysterical. Honestly, this was one of their funnier ones.
I think it was. Yeah. I found this one funnier than like last year's. Last year's
was pretty good too, but this year's was really strong.
This one cheated by having Suda.
Yeah.
They get like Yoko Taro or something next year. It'll be even better. I could do that.
Yeah, but as for the games they showed off, they only showed off like 5 games, but all of them looked really good. So yeah.
Yeah, we had Cult of the Lamb, which we've seen, so let's definitely go into it. It looks good.
Looks good. Yeah.
Angerfoot. I didn't think Angerfoot was like a full game. I played like the alpha of that ages ago, and I thought it was just like a little thing on like itch.io.
Yeah, like a little game jam type game, you know?
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, this is like a whole thing, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised they decided to go further on it and expand it into a full game, just because, like, I think we could all agree, just from playing the alpha, that, yeah, did have a lot of
It's
potential, and it
fun.
was really fun, you know?
You kick doors at people.
Yeah. And
uh,
then like the Plucky Squire, that game looks amazing.
yeah, like you think at first it's a Zelda game, like sort of thing where it's like, oh,
It's like,
cute storybook art
yeah.
style, but then he like comes out of it and it's like a 3D puzzle platformer thing.
Oh my
It's like,
god, how that game is gonna shape up. That game looks absolutely amazing. I'm so excited for it. I think it's coming out
yeah,
next year.
yeah. And it's by the art director of Pokemon Sword and Shield.
That's so weird.
This game's probably higher budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That looks really neat. All of, like the cool stuff, he was like interacting with like toys and stuff. Like he was like walking on like the side of a tin and like I don't know, like just there's so much cool like stuff that could end up happening in this game.
Yeah, it just looks so awesome. I can't wait to play it.
And then the greatest game ever, Skate Story,
Yeah.
where you're a demon made of glass and pain.
Yeah, and you must skate out of hell.
This looks awesome.
It does look really cool.
You just skate and like you wipe out and shatter, and it just like it looks so cool. I don't know, just like looking at it, just I could just tell it'd be like so cool to like control, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Be a good successor because we're not getting another Tony Hawk Pro Skater because Activision destroyed Vicarious Visions or whatever. So this will be the next best thing.
Yeah.
That game just looks gorgeous. So
yeah. Was there another game shown off? I can't even remember.
I think it was that was all.
That was it?
Yeah, I'm double checking. Yep, that was it.
Yeah, the Revolver event was really fun. It's definitely worth my time. Unlike some of these other events.
Yes.
And I guess we can talk more about the Xbox event. We only talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, we just kind of talked about general thoughts. Let's go into actual games. We saw Redfall, which looks like it's gonna have like some more open, like sort of RPG elements than I was expecting.
Yeah. So after the first Redfall trailer, right before they actually showed any gameplay, I assumed it was just gonna be like a Left 4 Dead, with like campaigns,
Yeah, where you just play through a level with somebody and then go your separate ways. Yeah, that kind of looked.
But apparently, it's actually just Borderlands 2, but with vampires,
which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
Looter shooters are good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much looter shooter elements are gonna be in component. When I say it's it's Borderlands.
Yeah, it's like an open game where you do quests with other people.
Yeah, I meant that in like it's a co-op open game shooter where you have
that
4 main characters that each have unique powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big thing PS3 generation, wasn't it?
It was somewhat big.
Yeah.
I mean, just like any style of shooter that you could think of was fairly popular then,
But there was a nice atmosphere like in the gameplay we saw. Like I wasn't expecting this game to kind of be like, I don't know, almost a little spooky.
Yeah. I think it looks fine, Personally, I'm just not that interested in it, to be honest. But I never really was that interested in it, so it's like whatever.
I don't know if I'm more or less interested after knowing more.
Yeah.
Because like before I was just like, oh, another Left 4 Dead. Nice, I like Left 4 Dead. But now I'm like, there's a lot of games that are already kind of like this. The vampire theming might set it apart enough. Yeah. I don't know. Like the fighting the vampires did look cool. Like that looked really panicky and fun and kind of like a Resident Evil way, you know?
I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, I know I tried Borderlands 2 in the past and did not care for it and dropped it.
Yeah. I mean, I've dropped Borderlands 2 as well, but, you know. I don't think that's the gameplay's fault. I think that's a lot of other things' fault.
Well, you see, for me, it definitely was the gameplay's fault because I just found it very boring.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is really boring.
There's a lot of bullets. It's pretty bullet spongy, too. Yeah, you can't just run around and shoot stuff. You gotta get your loot.
Yeah.
But, What else was here at this event? We had Minecraft Legends.
Yeah, it's the action RTS.
Which, yeah, what is this?
It's
Like,
Minecraft Brutal Legends.
you build your army and build fortresses and battle against the Nether.
I mean, with that other RTS game that was announced at Summer Games Fest that we didn't see at all.
This is more exciting because it's Minecraft.
Yeah. I mean, at least it kind of feels like a bit of a RTS resurgence, some ways,
Getting a lot. Yeah.
We got a whole 2 RTSs announced. That's way more than we usually get.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there was those like Command and Conquer, I think, remakes. Or was it the other game?
There was a Warcraft 3 remake that sucked.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking there's like some old RTSs.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Trying to remember their names.
I think RTSs.
I think one of them had like red something in the title.
Yeah, it's like a back of my brain.
It was
I don't know.
About fighting communists, I think.
It's in my brain. I don't know.
I can't remember.
But RTSs are like the one genre I haven't really played that much.
Yeah, me too.
I played some Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 2 with Lucas and got obliterated. That's my entire experience.
Sounds about right. Yeah, it's tough mainly because if Lucas was here, he would actually have something to say on this aspect specifically because he is the RTS guy of the group.
I know. He's played a ton of like Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
But I played Lego Battles on the DS back in 2010. That was like an RTS for children.
I don't know. It's just kind of odd because of how the RTS genre evolved because it did kind of just evolve into the MOBAs,
In a way, yeah. Can we have like the teamfight tactics stuff like kill MOBAs now? That'd be really funny.
Yeah. I mean, people were theorizing that they would, but then the hype around them kind of died down and then they just kind of found their own little niche. I don't know. I tried out those like auto chess, like teamfight tactics stuff, and I didn't really care for it. It just felt really RNG dependent because it's like, okay, build a team and they automatically fight and stuff, and the idea is to just build a better team comp than everybody else. But how you build your team comp is completely RNG dependent because it's dependent on what roles you get.
Yeah, at that point, I'd probably rather just play a deck builder.
Yeah, it's like at this point, it's like. Now, I think I would rather just play, like, a card game or something.
Yeah.
I don't think the games are bad. I couldn't get into it.
But about Minecraft Legends, this looked like you were actually doing some, like, light building with, like, your fortresses and stuff, which I'm interested in because Minecraft Dungeons, which I heard it was fine, but I was really annoyed at how it had no building, like, at all. It was just, like, a Diablo game with a Minecraft skin. There was nothing Minecraft to the actual identity of the game. This
it didn't need to be a Minecraft game. Yeah.
Yeah. You could have completely risked the entire game and it would have changed nothing.
Yep.
Like, this
they could have made it a Gauntlet game and it would have been the same,
It would have. Yeah. Who owns Gauntlet these days? Is it Warner Brothers?
Yeah, Warner Brothers owns the IP. Because the IP was, like, owned between, like, Atari and Midway.
Yeah.
And then Warner Brothers
was it even Atari? It was like fake Atari.
Yeah, I think it was fake Atari. It's complicated.
Who used to be GT Interactive.
Yeah.
Who are still around. Oh, that's confusing.
Point being is Warner Brothers owns the Gauntlet IP. But the only thing they do with any of the Midway IPs that they own is just release new what's the game called? I can't believe I'm blanking on this.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, yeah. I'm happy you knew what I was thinking about.
Yeah, it's their only series.
Yeah.
Midway has so many great series I wish weren't totally dead. Like, Carnival. That's awesome.
Yeah. I think they also made Clay Fighters, right?
I think that Wisdom.
Yeah, because Clay Fighters is just kind of like a PG-13 Mortal Kombat.
Rampage is them, I believe.
Yep, it is.
I think they made Tapper, the bartending arcade
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
And they what else they do? I'm just like I'm trying to remember Midway games.
It's just funny.
I think they made Doom 64.
That sounds believable.
That sounds about right. That's Midway. Whatever happened to them? Shame.
They made a few too many bad Mortal Kombat games that didn't sell. And Gauntlet
there was a lot of those.
Wasn't selling. And arcades stopped being a thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just because, like, well, Gauntlet was like a pioneer of the dungeon crawling genre. The genre itself shifted a lot more towards Diablo.
Yeah.
And a lot less towards the basic arcadey pick up and play co-op of Gauntlet, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because that kind of game, like, just dungeon crawlers in general, were bigger on PC, and I think Gauntlet works better as a multiplayer thing.
Definitely.
Which, I mean, at the time, multiplayer games just wouldn't work as well as PC, you know?
Yeah. And like even like and when they tried to say add some light RPG elements to the Gauntlet franchise with like Dark Legacy and stuff, specifically, it kind of in a hindsight also hindered the co-op aspect of it. Because it meant that you couldn't just pick up and play at any point, you know, if you wanted to have your friend come over and play a few levels with you. If you didn't already have another character on a different file leveled up for them to play with, you couldn't really play a certain level, you know? You'd have to start a new campaign with both new characters and start from the beginning of the game, you know?
Yeah, that's not pickup. That destroys the appeal there. Yeah. Dark Legacy is pretty fun though, just playing it.
Oh, it is. It's like the greatest game ever made, pretty much. It's on my 3x3, right in the middle.
Nice.
Yeah.
What else?
The Xbox event was shit because they didn't announce a new Gauntlet game.
Get over here, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
They had Diablo 4.
Yeah. It's a real shame that one Gauntlet game they actually did produce just did not have, like, any real level design.
Yeah, it wasn't randomly generated, right? It felt randomly generated, but it wasn't.
It just was corridors of box-shaped corridors. It was really weird.
I mean, that's Gauntlet. That's like early Gauntlet. I mean, that's even Diablo to an extent, but I don't know. You need something else there.
It's like, if you're gonna go for the arcadey style, you then have to follow that up with fun power-ups and fun levels to maneuver around through. You know, the reason why Gauntlet Dark Legacy is so fun is because of the visuals, you know? That game is completely sold through going through a level and it having, you know, one actual fucking level design that was thought out, and the fact that the levels are visually dynamic and unique and interesting, you know?
Yeah.
Each one explores a single idea to its fullest, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Gauntlet was just, oh my gosh, this level has a monster spawner in the fourth hallway.
Yeah, exactly.
See, like other dungeon crawlers, they have very boxy level design like some of Diablo, but that works with like RPG elements. I don't know where, like, you know, combat's more about planning and not Gauntlet, where Gauntlet's just you run around and hit stuff.
Yeah, Gauntlet's very much you run around and hold the attack button to fire your projectiles at a giant wave of enemies, you know?
Yeah, so you need interesting level design to make that fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Because the fun part of Gauntlet is not really the gameplay, it is literally exploring through the levels because the levels are dynamic and visually interesting, you know?
Yeah.
At least from the later games.
The original Gauntlet has pretty interesting levels for the time. There's a lot of weird gimmicks and stuff.
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
As far as you go in the NES.
Like, I remember, I think it was Gauntlet 2, specifically, where there was one level fairly late in the game where the gimmick was it was just a giant square. The entire level was a big square. There was no walls or anything. But every other tile had an exit in it. But all of them were fake except for one.
This is some like freaking Doom 2 level shit. Like what the hell?
Keep in mind there was also like enemy spawners throughout the level, of course. But like 80% of the tiles were exit signs, right? And you just had to try and find the one real exit out of all the fake ones.
I think more level designers should just say fuck it. They need stuff like this. We need more
and it's
often.
Like the level's not really good, but it's insanely memorable.
Yeah, like like I brought up Doom 2. You ever play Barrels O Fun in Doom 2? They were just like, okay, what if we just do a level where we just put hundreds of explosive barrels everywhere?
I'm sure that
Why
was
not?
also a level in one of the early games.
It's the funnest thing you can possibly do.
Yeah.
It's when you run out of ideas, that's the first thing you gotta go to.
Oh yeah. They did that trick in Dark Legacy so often where they'll put an explosive barrel next to a regular barrel with an item in it.
Very annoying. But yeah. There was no dungeon crawlers here. I don't think.
I'm not sure how we got on that tangent.
I don't know, but it was fun.
Yeah.
We saw Pentiment, that medieval game.
I don't remember that.
That was one where it was like the art style where it was like literally looked like a medieval priest.
Yeah, like those memes. yeah. Where you know the memes where it's just like they take a song and then do it in like 13th century.
Yeah. Love that. Oh, I think that's just one channel. That's like the best channel on YouTube. Cherno's I forgot what the Cherno's Perfect Math Class one was called.
You know, that kind of reminds me of like you know how like Yoshi's Topsy Turvy or whatever is called like Yoshi's Gravitational Rotation or something in Britain.
The worst title. But I don't know about that game. It just looked like kind of like an adventure game, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was kind of just like, you know, sort of a point and click adventure game.
Honestly, like that time period's probably very unexplored for games. Like we have so many like fantasy games, but we have like high fantasy. They never do like feudal period where it just sucked.
Is one game. I think it's called like Kingdom Come.
Yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yes,
I think.
one. That one's not fantasy. It's just medieval.
Yeah. But those are rare. You know.
Yeah.
Most just follow like the Tolkien or Dungeons and Dragons route. You know.
Yeah. Because then I can shoot lightning, and that's cool.
Well, I mean, even if they don't do fantasy, they do more like high, like, you know,
yeah,
like right before Renaissance period, like where, you know, where it's kind of nice.
Yeah, or they do pirates because pirates are cool.
Well, pirates were around until like the 1890s. Like that could be any time. They didn't change.
Yeah, you can do pirates in any time period.
Yeah. But that Pentiment looks Pentiment. What a stupid title.
Yeah,
probably like some like archaic word.
Yeah. Although my favorite game definitely showed off the Xbox event that I saw was definitely the last case of Benedict Fox.
Yeah, same. This is what I'm like, okay, I gotta buy this.
So cool.
Yeah.
Because it is a Eldritch Horror Metroidvania.
Yes.
It's like, what if Alone in the Dark was a Metroidvania? And it's like, oh man, it's so cool.
Sign me up.
Yeah,
I'm
really
like, yeah, I'm completely on board. I don't even know what to say about it. I'm curious about the controls. It looks kind of cinematic platformy, you know, kind of like a Oddworld almost thing.
It looked like it controlled a bit more fluidly than your average one, to be honest.
Yeah, like I can't tell while I'm
combat also looked a lot more
playing it.
doable, you know?
Yeah, it's not like flashback where you gotta get into shooting position, aim, fire. Yeah, it's not like stuff
Yeah.
like that.
And it being a Metroidvania as such, I am interested to see how they're gonna go with the power progression and stuff. Because
Oh
there's the
yeah.
basic ones of like, you got a gun, now you can shoot the Eldritch Horrors with bullets or something like that. But what if you got like an actual Eldritch power and shit like that,
Yeah, now you're cursed by Shub Nagurath
Yeah.
and you have goat legs that make you jump higher. Give me that.
Or it's like, what if you could see through like into like another dimension or something like that, and then
Yeah.
perceive the
Eyes of
environment
Yog-Sothoth.
differently, shit like that, and then like you can manipulate the environment using it or something like that. There's lots of
There's so many cool stuff.
cool potential for like
I
power
want it
ups
to
and stuff.
be you getting more and more horribly inhuman by the end.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I'm
I'll
really
let you
excited
be
for
in-
this because it
but you-
seems like it has a ton of potential and it looks fairly well executed, to be honest.
Yeah,
Just off of the initial first impressions of the trailer.
yeah. Yeah, it just looks neat. I don't know.
I just think they're neat.
You were saying during your reaction you thought it was a new Alone in the Dark game, and this would be the best Alone in the Dark game we've had since like ever.
Yeah. I mean, I say that just because specifically
That's more
like the
aesthetic.
first Alone in the Dark,
Yeah,
it
where
was
you go
set
to the
in that
spooky house.
time period and you go to the spooky mansion,
Yeah, it's 1920s E.
Yeah.
You go to Spooky Mansion, you got bad hair.
Fight Eldritch Horror.
Yeah. That looks really cool.
It does.
I hope I gotta keep my eye on it. We also saw Scorn here, but that was announced before, yes?
Yeah, this was announced years ago, and we've been seeing little bits and pieces of it throughout the years.
I don't know how I've missed it. I probably have heard of it before, but I don't remember like seeing it. I don't know.
To be fair, I think this was like one of the first big gameplay trailers they've shown in a long while. I remember seeing a good amount of cinematic trailers in the past that all looked just really weird and unappealing, to be honest. I know a lot of people have been really interested in this game for a while. Personally, I'm just not a big fan of the H.R. Geiger dick. I'm gonna keep it real.
Oh man, the Geiger aesthetic rocks. The problem is the only Geiger stuff we get is alien stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not Geigery enough, because that's mostly just on spaceships.
Yeah. No, I totally understand where the people are coming from who are excited for this game. I 100% understand, because this game, it does look good. I just personally not the biggest.
I want to run around a rib cage made of evil penises. That's what this game. That's what the Geiger aesthetic's about, and this game's figured that out.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like this game has definitely nailed the aesthetic, and I think it will probably be pretty good. Hopefully, it's not bad. I hope for all the people who've been waiting and excited and hoping for this game to come out for years, it ends up being what they want, and they're happy with it. For me personally, this has just never been anything that's been on my radar at all.
Yeah. I feel
that's just me. But hopefully it delivers what the people want,
Yeah. Which is...
It doesn't need to appeal to me, and that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, we'll have a Geiger game that isn't Darkseid or whatever, because I don't want to set up DOSBox and try to play that. So, yeah. Was there really anything else to note at the Xbox event? I mean, all the games look pretty good.
No, you're forgetting Starfield.
Oh, Todd, how could I forget?
By Skyrim.
1,000 planets.
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah. Is there going to be a poop planet?
I believe him. I believe him. He's not lying. I
hope
believe
there's a planet
1,000.
made entirely out of random garbage.
That's all the planets.
No, I mean like literal garbage. It's just a ball of garbage that got congealed in space to form a planet because people would launch their garbage into that general direction in space. And then it all congealed into gravity to make a gravitational field and form a planet.
I'm worried that's too cool of a sci-fi concept for them to come up with.
I know, right? Oh man, I should just write an entire sci-fi novel just about the garbage planet.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. People love those sci-fi short stories.
Oh yeah. Send it to Weird Tales if they still exist.
Yeah.
Something.
I mean, it doesn't sound like that original an idea, but it is a good idea.
Yeah, it is a good idea. Yeah, just for that in a game out in a corner of the universe, Bethesda. Just call us, Todd. Give us some royalties.
Yeah.
But I totally believe there's over 1,000 planets. They didn't say they're going to be interesting planets.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be shitty like moons, like rocks, where you just have to like make your own fun of your bases and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think the structure is going to be a few dozen planets that feel like an actual like Skyrim or Fallout world, you know?
Yeah.
And then there could be, you know, events that can happen on any random world. Like, so they can still make the universe alive while still having that much shit in there, you know?
In theory, yeah. I honestly don't know how to feel about this game. Because I've been seeing some opinions on it, right? And my initial impressions was, this is a Bethesda game, right? As someone who isn't a big Bethesda fan, right? I don't really care about their games, to be honest. I don't think they're bad, I just don't care. I've tried Oblivion, I've tried Fallout 3. I don't care.
Oh, those are the worst ones.
Yeah, well,
they
should have made them better then if they wanted me to buy their sequels.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. But it's like, as someone who was never going to get this game at all anyway, right? I don't have any, you know,
stakes
in this, right? And my initial impressions of this were like, this is going to be really buggy. Right?
Yeah.
There's just no way it's not. It's going to be really buggy. It's probably going to be fairly decent overall. It's going to have a massive scope. But I'm kind of, I really don't know how to feel about this because it's just like, on one hand, scope is cool. On the other hand,
I think this is what people wanted No Man's Sky to be. This actually has combat and stuff.
See, I'm worried it's just going to be No Man's Sky again. You know,
No Man's Sky promised the universe and it delivered. It just, I think people were expecting it to be this like epic, you know, space opera simulator, but that's not what it was. It was you fly around space and look at stuff. This is a Bethesda game. You're going to be shooting people. It had
but
spaceships you make and blow up. You know, it has all that.
How good is the shooting going to be? Because it really doesn't look any better than Fallout's.
Fallout 4 is solid. If it's using a Fallout 4 engine again, that's fine.
Yeah,
I think 3 and New Vegas have pretty bad combat, but 4 felt good.
I don't know. I am just kind of worried in a couple of sense.
Yeah, I have a bit more faith actually finally seeing it, because I just had no clue how this is going to work for the longest time. Just how
I just feel like it's
Bethesda formula works and something like that.
I'm just cautious that this is going to end up being another Cyberpunk situation. And I think a lot of people are already like preparing themselves mentally for that. Because I'm not seeing nearly as much crazy overhype as you've seen in previous games like this, you know? Where a lot of people are, you know, being cautiously optimistic, you know?
I think Cyberpunk did catch a lot of people off guard, because even with all the delays and stuff, I don't think people expected it to be that buggy. Because
in some sense it did, but it definitely didn't catch everyone off guard. There was definitely people who knew months and years ahead of time that this was gonna end up being a piece of shit, you know?
I think people just gave it the benefit of the doubt, because like Witcher 3 is just that polished that it was like, oh, come on, there's no way. And then it happened.
Yeah. Although the people who did guess that Cyberpunk was gonna be bad then got up on their high horse, you know, and then was like, haha, you know, we're gonna do this again. And then they tried to do that again for Elden Ring, where they tried to make the same statements and shit like that. And it was just like, well, obviously Elden Ring's not gonna be shit. You're just stupid. it's like, you know, because like with Cyberpunk, there was warning signs throughout its development with one, how long the development was taking overall, the fact that the studio had never really tackled anything like this before. 3, a lot of the promises that they made early on, by the time like were never going to come to fruition, and they already said that they had broken all those promises. We're like, okay, yeah, it actually isn't going to have all these things we promised they would have. So those are, kind of big red flags in the sense that, hey, development isn't actually going very well.
Bethesda games are buggy. Aside from like Fallout 76 though, their games are usually fine. Like
yeah,
they're
but
big,
you have to remember that Fallout 76 was the last game they made.
yeah, but I don't see that one as that wasn't like a tentpole main series game. That was like a weird multiplayer experiment for the most part. I don't know. I don't think no one didn't have the kind of money behind something like a Fallout 4.
I would disagree. I think they were definitely pushing it as that.
It didn't even have NPCs at launch, because that wasn't
because
planned.
The idea was you were supposed to be the NPCs.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Starfield feels more tentpole. This feels like, they want this to be the next Skyrim or the next Fallout 4.
But you also have to remember they haven't made a real game since Skyrim.
Yeah,
and their last game was okay. Skyrim and Fallout 4.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, that's only because these games take like 8 years to make.
Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody have time to play through 1,000 planets?
No, I don't play through all of Bethesda games. I just do like a playthrough, like a 70-hour play.
It's like, who's ever gonna finish this game?
To the end because they're cozy. You get a good, you explore, you see the world, and then you're done. They're cozy, they're fun.
I mean, like Elden Ring is massive, but it's reasonably massive. It's like 100 to 120 hour game. That's reasonable for a massive title. I wouldn't want a game to be any bigger than that.
I mean, like a Fallout or a Skyrim, a single playthrough is like 90 hours. I mean, it's meant for you to come back like year after year because there's just a fuck ton of content.
Well, if you do, near 100% completion, where you can complete all the shit you could possibly complete. Because obviously you can't do all of the quests because some are gonna interfere with others. You can't do all of the guilds.
But Bethesda games have never been meant to be 100%. I mean, look at Daggerfall. That game, I think, is actually impossible to 100% because it's actually so ridiculously huge.
Well, not on one playthrough, but
no, not even just on one playthrough.
If you were to do multiple playthroughs, you could experience all the content in theory.
In theory, I don't know. Daggerfall is that big. It's kind of like because they just most of the world they just could just make like plains and fields. So they're like, okay, let's make something that's.
Well, it doesn't count if it's empty nothingness,
Well, yeah, but then there's a fuck ton of towns though. There's like thousands of towns in there too. Stuff going on in them. I mean, Daggerfall's big. You can't see it all, and that's kind of the point of Bethesda games. They're just kind of.
It's big in like a vapid way, though.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, it's massive, but none of this shit matters. Which is also why I'm worried about Starfield because it's like we already know it's going to be big and vapid.
Yeah.
It's space. That's literally what space is. It's big and fucking vapid, and there's nothing in it.
Yeah, I hope there was a spooky xenomorph hiding out somewhere out there.
Yeah. It's like Elden Ring, it's just like, it's a single continent, It's shaped like a finger.
Yeah. It's really shaped like a big finger.
I don't know. It's also like one of those things where it's like, is Starfield gonna be able to compete with like Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild 2?
I think Bethesda games are different enough. They're a pretty different formula from like the Ubisoft kind of open world, to be honest. I don't know.
I mean, that's true. They are big open world RPGs. They're definitely better than your average Ubisoft open world RPGs. But you also have the fact that
they lean more into the RPG.
This is a genre that's obscenely buggy, Yeah,
I mean, I know people like really shut Bethesda for how buggy their games. I cut them some slack. I've never had game breaking stuff outside of New Vegas. Actually,
it's not even just Bethesda. It's that every game in this genre is buggy.
Yeah, I mean it's just impossible with how big the games are. Yeah, I mean you can't have a game where you can.
These genres, this specific genre is just kind of, it's unmanageable.
Yeah, unless they want to do things on a scale like Morrowind again, which I don't think that would go over well.
Yeah. And
I mean,
that's the
actually,
thing. It's
even
like Elden Ring is the only game that would, kind of count in this genre in the sense that it is a big open world action RPG. And it
yeah,
works because they made it work, because they
yeah.
scaled it back in reality, you know.
They scaled it back. Yeah, Elden Ring's more of an action game. There's not, the big tons of like hugely populated towns with all the quests going on and stuff.
Yeah.
And Bethesda can't get rid of that. That's what made the Elder Scrolls interesting when it came out. It was a dungeon crawler where, oh shit, I could walk around and there's actually like a whole world here with people that do stuff.
Yeah. I
Like,
don't
yeah,
know. It's kind of weird in a sense because I kind of just feel like something akin to Elden Ring where there's some NPC interactions, but they're not super necessary, There's a
yeah,
lot more wanted in a lot of sense than the other style is. I think a lot of people are just getting sick of a lot of the same old genres that we've been seeing for the last 10 years,
yeah.
in a lot of ways. I think people are getting sick of the more cinematic movie style story driven
I
games,
wouldn't be getting sick of it if we just got different AAA stuff, like
Yeah.
occasionally.
And I think people are wanting more gameplay centric games,
Yeah. I miss Japan Studio. That's the message of that. We
Yeah.
were not getting AAA interesting games from Sony anymore, so
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I mean, I could be wrong, and Starfield could be amazing, and it could
Yeah.
be not that buggy, and the gameplay could be really good, and it could have a lot of quality content in it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of worried because it seems like it's
Todd
going to be
promised
very
us
big
a
and
1,000
vapid.
planets.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's just like I don't even want 1,000 planets. That's like another thing. It's like I don't even want that. That's too many planets.
There's a novelty to having a really big world, but yeah,
Yeah, it's
I don't
just
know.
it's just weird because it's like you're promising us the whole universe, and in some senses, like in theory, this sounds awesome, and in practice, I'm like, I don't have time to play that. You know, and
This
it's
is
like,
a
how are you gonna make that?
CRPG. They want you to put 50,000 hours into it. This is your next, I don't know, Baldur's Gate.
I mean, I get it.
Actually, Baldur's Gate isn't that long. You could just play through Baldur's
I
Gate
don't
in like
know.
60 hours, I
I'm
think.
just
I get it.
I'm just worried about it. And once again, as someone who doesn't really have a stake in it at all, because I don't give a fuck if this game is good or not. To be honest, I couldn't care at all what anybody thinks of this game, because I
There are
know
going to
I'm
be
not going to
some
play it, and I don't care.
cool as hell mods for this, though. I think we can agree on that.
Oh yeah,
There is
someone
so
will mod
much.
in my garbage planet.
Yeah, yeah. Modders could do so much of a whole universe to work with.
Yeah, you can just take one of the planets that's just there and doesn't have anything on it, and then turn it into something that has shit on it.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Yeah. But I'm sure Bethesda will find some way to fuck it up and try to charge us for those mods or something like that.
They tried with that Skyrim and Fallout 4 thing, and they fucked off pretty fast.
Nah, they tried again. They're gonna try. They're gonna keep trying. They're like,
They're gonna keep trying, but they can't be like Take-Two and just say, no, you're not allowed to have free mods. They can't.
they
They
can't do
won't
that.
ever do that, I don't think.
No, they won't.
Yeah. Mainly because the bug fix mods exist.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Mhm.
Goobida goobida. I don't know what that noise was. Anything else at the
Uh,
Xbox event?
No, I
There
don't
was
think
Hot
so.
Wheels.
It
That was it.
was Hot Wheels Forza.
Well,
Anyway,
let's move on
let's
to
move on to Capcom.
Capcom.
Yes.
Do you have anything to say about anything that wasn't Resident Evil?
We talked
'Cause we talked
about
about Street
Street
Fighter.
Fighter already.
Yeah.
There was no Mega Man. But then they
I
were
didn't
like,
expect Mega Man.
they
Mega
had
Man's
like
dead.
they had the Capcom event. They were like, Dragon's Dogma, right, guys?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. I forgot about
And then they were
Dragon's Dogma.
like, it's pretty cool. And then they didn't say anything else about it. And then like 3 days later, they were like, Dragon Dogmas 2, we're making it. Whereas I'm
Wow.
just like, why didn't you just tell us that at the event?
Yeah. Very awkward. They're still figuring out this E3 thing. It's
It's
better
like-
than last year's, which I will never not make fun of them having the only gameplay trailer be for a visual novel. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Last year's Capcom E3 was terrible.
I mean, and I was really excited to get Ace Attorney Chronicles. that was the only interesting thing.
Yeah.
But okay, let's go to Resident Evil. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Village DLC. Firstly, we got Rose story. I don't know.
Yeah. So instead of that being Resident Evil, 9, around 9, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They just made a
This is
DLC for 8 instead.
That's fair. It looks like they're reusing assets, and that's fine. Use them smart,
that's
make a fun
fine.
little DLC.
Yeah.
I'm worried. Like they're going like that full on like, oh, you're surreal, not in a real world, and like that could like really spiral into not being scary in the slightest if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Like something like a Layers of Fear, which just got super surrealist really fast, and it's like I'm not scared anymore. Like I don't care. When Resident Evil's like silly, but it always trying to have a logical explanation for its stuff keeps it kind of grounded, which keeps it spooky.
Oh, that reminds me, because Gauntlet Dark Legacy, the last like main realm of the game was the Dream Realm, right?
Yeah,
And that had all the spooky levels in it. It was really cool.
that works when the entire rest of your game is basic kind of fantasy, that catches you off guard.
Yeah, it was cool because like the first
there.
level was like the Cursed Carnival or something like that, or maybe it was the Haunted Carnival.
Evil carnivals kick ass.
Yeah. And then it was like the Haunted Grounds, like the Haunting Grounds or something, where it was a bunch of chunks of land floating like in like a vortex of space or something.
Oh my god, it's Zen.
Yeah, kinda.
That's just what my brain goes to when it's floating things in space.
Well, it wasn't like Zen because it wasn't like meat. It was just kind of like dirt and grass.
Okay.
It was like regular. It was like chunks of the earth that were like ripped from the earth and then got caught in like a time vortex or something. Yeah.
That's cool.
And then there was your worst nightmare.
Jam and Earl. That's what it is.
Yeah. And then there was your worst nightmare level, which is like the coolest level in the game. And is also like really, really long. I think that level's like 50 minutes long. Or at least it feels 50 minutes long. But yeah, that level is... You start the level like on a platform, and then you walk across a ton into like a skull's mouth, and you go through like the entire body. It's like a vor level.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then there's like a haunted mansion level.
Fun.
Right, and that one's cool.
Man, now I want to play this.
It's so awesome. It's like the best levels in the game.
I binged Dark Legacy years ago with you, and we just got kind of burnt out by like before the end because it's a good game, but it gets repetitive.
I think we made it to like the sand level.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ice level, which is the one after that, and then the Dream Realm are like the best levels in the game, though.
Yeah. Save the best stuff for last.
Yeah. And then there's the can't really remember the name of it.
Yeah, whatever.
But it's so cool. It's like it's like illusion something. Here, I'm gonna just Google it. Call it Dark Legacy. Dream World.
Dark Legacy is cool.
Level
I once played a Gauntlet
5.
Legacy arcade machine.
Level 5.
I played the Sky level. Got destroyed.
Yeah, it's a maze of illusions.
Okay.
And oh man, I'm just gonna. Here is like a screenshot of it. Oh wait, no, I don't want to. Let me see if I can get that. Yeah, because it's really cool. Look at that shit.
You know, just an Escher level.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, it's an Escher level.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
that
but
was
yeah.
off topic, but I don't care.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair.
I'm gonna take any excuse I can to talk about Gauntlet Dark Legacy.
We got to do a let's play of it eventually.
We will one day.
After now we got to do a Doom let's play. So we brought that up earlier, and I have to do that now because I can talk about that for
We
days.
did Doom and Quake and all those games. It's easy. It's not that long.
Yeah. It's like 2 hours long. But yeah, the Village DLC. We had the Rose expansion, which I don't know. We just kind of saw story stuff, and I assume gameplay wise it'll be similar. I don't know. Then we had mercenary stuff. Yeah,
mercenaries mode. Then you
that looks awesome. Chris, he's gonna be cool. He's gonna be Shooty McBang Bang. What's the other guy's name? Heisenberg.
Yeah, Heisenberg.
Is it Heisenberg what they call Walter White?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, anyway,
Heimerdinger's the Yordle.
Yeah, I know Heimerdinger's the Yordle from League of Legends. Yeah, well, so you play as Walter White.
Yeah.
Mercenaries mode. He's got his hammer and magnetic powers or whatever.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Lady Demetrescu, whatever.
Throws,
she's stupidly tall and just throws shit. And she literally picks up zombies and chokes them out. It's awesome.
Yeah. Random bullshit go.
That sounds really have you ever played RE4 Mercenaries?
No, I have not.
Okay, because that has Wesker and he just has random bullshit. He's awesome in there, or he can just he just has the Force. He just sticks his palm out and just energy blasts everything in front of him. It's Mercenaries is a lot of fun. We can just pull out random bullshit.
Yeah. They added third-person mode.
That's neat. I don't know. That'll be a fun way to replay it. I'm gonna replay it when that comes around. Now I'm almost wishing 7 got something like that. Which, I mean, it wouldn't work because of 7 has all the found footage stuff, which has to be kind of first person.
Yeah.
But that'd be neat if you could just play the whole series in third person.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, but that'll be a fun way to play it.
Yeah.
More comfortable on controller, honestly, because I have the game on PS4. So.
Yeah, that's true. I always find that third-person games control better in controller, and first-person games control better with mouse and keyboard.
Don't know what it is. But yeah,
I think it's just trying to control first person with a joystick feels weird.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I've played plenty of I'm thinking of why third-person shooters feel fine with a controller.
I think it's because of how you're moving the camera, right? And how the camera's positioned. Yeah. The camera's positioned behind the character. Then moving it with a joystick makes sense in a lot of ways. But if it's positioned in the character's, point of view, then you want precise visual movements, right? Because it's simulating you looking around in real life, sort of,
Yeah.
Especially if you're using first-person shooter where you need precise aiming, which is the majority of first-person games are shooters,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited for this DLC.
Yes.
And then we finally had RE4, where we saw about 3 seconds of gameplay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That reminds me of another thing we forgot to talk about. Because it was so forgettable during the Summer Games Fest. A day before, earlier the day, Sony had leaked The Last of Us remake, and they just announced it at Summer Games Fest because it was supposed to be.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
forgot about the Last of Us remake. Because speaking of Resident Evil 4, remake, a game that really didn't need a remake. A
At
game that
least it's a
really,
remake
really
that's like
didn't need a.
reimagining
Yeah,
itself, you know?
but a game that really, really didn't need a remake. Last of
Yes.
Us. I'm just gonna go out and say this. Don't fucking buy this remake for $70. The Last of Us
Jesus.
one, not the Resident Evil 4 one. If you want the
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 remake, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up buying this for 60, maybe
Yeah.
70 if there's a collector's edition that has something especially cool.
I
Oh man,
probably
maybe
won't bother with it. I think I'd rather just buy the original, to be honest.
I've played the original enough times now,
I haven't gotten to it yet, but it's on my bucket list.
and next
So
replay, I gotta get back to the VR. VR port's really fun for
yeah,
that. But
yeah. Do you want to talk about the Last of Us remake since we forgot about it, or do you want to talk more about the Resident Evil 4 remake and
I
then
mean, all I
finish
have to
with the?
say is, holy shit! I can't believe they have the audacity to charge $70 for that
Yeah, what the
for a
fuck?
PS3 game that looks practically identical.
Yeah,
It looks the same as it did 2 console generations ago.
yeah. The
Like,
thing is, it's very odd because I've seen lots of comparison screenshots, and if on some of them I could tell the difference if it's like a weird close up screenshot, right? But if it's a bit more zoomed out and stuff, and you don't put the labels of which one is which, I
yeah,
can't tell which one is which.
and it's not even like a game like that. Game ran at a solid like 60 throughout. It looks good. Like Naughty Dog's games are great on a technical
Like it's
level.
not
They,
even like a real PS3 game because it was a late gen PS3 game got immediately got a PS4 remaster. So it's basically a PS4 game.
yeah,
It's
but like I'm
basically
saying,
an early gen PS4 game,
it's not one of those like PS3 games that looked really nice but just like ran like shit. So like a remaster sounds really nice. No, this is a game that ran really well and looked really good. And they're charging you $10 more than it originally cost for, I don't know. It doesn't even like look that much nicer. They
It
hit like a
really
point where
doesn't.
realistic graphics looking really nice can blow me away, but I don't know. I'm trying to remember the last time it really happened. Resident Evil 2 remake is the last time hyper realistic graphics like made me like my jaw drop, and that was mainly just because of like, I don't know, like reflective surfaces because it was rainy in that game.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only this is just, I don't know, people. I've seen this art before. Looks the same.
I don't know.
And they're having $100 edition, so enjoy
It's
that.
really ridiculous.
I
And it's
I
like I
can't.
can't even say like, oh man, I really wish Naughty Dog wasn't wasting their time on this and doing something else instead. Because even if they were to do something else, I wouldn't care at this point.
Speaking of Jack and Dexter on PS4 now, by the way, I think with new PlayStation Plus thing.
Yeah, I think it's
I
just
think.
the PS4 ports though,
Ugh, I have to.
and
I was
those are
hoping
just
they had those
those
up on the
are.
front page on there when I was looking
I
at
don't know.
it.
I don't know how good they are.
Yeah,
I still have my PS3 remastered collection, so that's the
oh,
one.
man, that's the
Those
only way
are
to play Sly Cooper as well, isn't it? PS3
pretty much,
editions.
yeah.
Hmm.
Although fans did just port Jack 1 natively to
Yeah, I
PC.
heard about that.
Why aren't you doing that, Naughty Dog?
Only Insomniac does PC ports.
Yeah. It's just it's kind of odd because it's like at one point in time, Naughty Dog was easily one of my favorite developers, like
Yeah,
development studios. And now they're kind of like one of my least favorite. I kind of hate them.
yeah.
It's like, wow, you guys, like, especially like the upper management and whatnot, and the
Oh
guys
yeah.
running the show, really kind of assholes,
I,
you know?
I don't even like hate The Last of Us. It's just everyone that it's just like Neil Druckmann and stuff just seems like an ass.
Yeah, it's like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not even that I don't like their new games, right? 'Cause I don't like The Last of Us. I don't really care for Uncharted much, you know.
Yeah.
Uncharted was one of those game series where I played it and I thought, oh, that was okay. I didn't
Yeah.
think that highly of it. And then looking back in retrospect, I'm like, actually, that was a lot worse than I really gave it credit for. That was
It
a
does a
lot
really good
more
job at
mid than I
an
thought it
Indiana
was.
Jones game. It reaches that goal admirably.
Yeah. It's not like necessarily bad, but I think I would kind of rate it a 1 out of 4.
I'm not gonna go that bad.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I know I haven't mentioned this at all, but in the last couple of weeks, I kind of came up with a new rating system for games, right?
Okay.
Where it's out of 4, right? Where 4 is like a masterpiece, must play, and 1 is don't bother.
This is
Right?
this is the Roger Ebert system. This is just his system.
Yeah, I mean it is, yeah. But it's like where it's just like 1 is don't bother no matter what, right?
Yeah.
2 is like if you are a fan of the genre, it's worth taking a look at and checking it out because you might like
Yeah.
it. 3 is like if you are a fan of a genre, you will really like this. And maybe if you're not a fan of the genre, maybe you'll enjoy it. But it's like
Yeah.
3 is like above average for the genre, more or less.
Yeah.
And then 4 is like it's so good that everyone needs to play this, even if you don't like the genre.
Yeah. That's
sense,
literally the Ebert system.
Yeah, it literally is. I just stole it from him without
although Ebert
realizing
hated
it,
video games.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good fucking system. I say that it's like it's not just for video games. You could do this for anything.
Ebert was a great critic for movies.
Yeah.
Just don't ask his opinion on video games. Well, he's dead now, so
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
I mean, like I didn't know he had that specific system. It is a good system. Yeah, someone else had that system, but yeah, that's a
good system
I've adopted.
It's better than out of 10.
Yeah, because it's like that's the thing with like review sites and stuff. It's like, anything like below a 6 or a 7 is like not worth bothering. Effectively,
I'm trying to remember one mag or like website or something dropped their like scores and they just went to bad, good, and amazing. I'm trying to remember who did that. I think Eurogamer did that. I think they just had like 3 ratings of it sucks, it's good, it's really good. Like it was just like that.
Yeah, because it's like you don't have time in your life to waste it playing a 5 out of 10 video game,
Yeah.
Where it's just like anything below a certain threshold is just not worth playing, right? It's like, is there a difference between a 2 out of 10 and a 6 out of 10? Yes. But are either of them worth playing? No.
A 2 out of 10 might be worth playing just to see for that train wreck, but
I mean, would you want to play it or would you rather watch someone play it,
That's true.
Because like that's the thing with like movies where it's like you can't even like, do that in a sense. Like unless you were watching it along with people,
Yeah.
Where it's like The Room is much more enjoyable if you have friends watching it with you that you can laugh at it with,
Yeah.
But if you were just watching The Room alone by yourself, it's not going to be
just uncomfortable.
Yeah, it'd just be weird.
You'd probably just feel like, oh,
yeah,
okay, what's happening?
Yeah.
Yep. But how did we get on this tangent?
We were talking about Uncharted, and I was talking about.
Oh yeah.
Right, because the point I was making about Naughty Dog as a studio, it's just like I don't even necessarily hate them just because I don't like the games they make anymore. If it was just that, I'd be indifferent to them. But it's also the fact that all of their higher ups are kind of like massive assholes who actively promote crunch.
Yeah.
It's
God,
just like
still am shocked that Last of Us 2 won Best Direction.
Yeah, fuck that. Holy shit.
That like yeah, like I already think the Game Awards are like a joke aside from the announcements, but wow.
Yeah. It's like
the only moment worse than that was at the Game Awards when Jeff Keighley said it's like we don't condone like industry abuse. Now here's a game by David Cage.
Yeah. It's like
oh my god.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
The
It's
video game industry. I miss Double A.
I don't know. It's also like, I think I don't remember exactly. I think it was Deathloop. Deathloop won Best Art Direction at the Game Awards over Psychonauts 2.
Okay, I played Deathloop. Deathloop has very nice art direction.
Yeah, but is it better than Psychonauts 2?
It's pretty clean. I don't know. It does that like 60s
I can
vibe
guarantee
really well.
you it's not better than Psychonauts 2.
I don't know. I really dig the 60s look.
I don't care how 60s that fucking game is. It does not have better art direction than Psychonauts 2, a literal fucking art house game.
Yeah.
It's like Psychonauts 2 is literally like at every fucking frame a painting.
Yeah.
It's like there's 1.5 billion other games that look basically identical to Deathloop. It's like, what does Deathloop have? Some slight cell shading? Wow. Really impressive. Not fucking at all.
It's got like the color palettes and the way all the tech looks, and I don't know. It's got a lot.
I'm gonna keep it real.
Deathloop
Deathloop just looks kind of like whatever visually. It's like it's like a 5 out of 10 visually. You know?
Really?
I think it just looks mid. Like, is it terrible? No. Is it exciting on any level? No. It's mediocre. It's a 5. You know, I mean, like, you gotta keep in mind that, like, something like, say, Call of Duty is like a 1 out of 10. You know?
Yeah.
Which, there was a Call of Duty trailer at the Summer Games Fest showcase, right? Before they showed the trailer, it was really funny because the lady on stage was like, back in X year, whatever the fuck year it was, it's like, Call of Duty Modern Warfare changed everything. And we're just sitting there being like, did it? Did it change everything? I don't think it changed anything.
I mean, it did. Not necessarily a good way. I'd go as far to say, like, COD Modern Warfare is like one of the most influential games ever in probably a bad way.
I mean, I mean, that's definitely true. It was definitely influential in a bad way. Yeah.
Aren't they just making another game called Modern Warfare 2? Isn't that what the new one is? They just gave up. It's just like, Modern Warfare again.
Yeah, I say that, like, it seems like people are finally starting to not care at all about Call of Duty. And like, which is somewhat true because I'm pretty sure sales have been down across the franchise, across the board.
I think going down since like Ghosts. Like,
yeah,
I think Black Ops 2 hit a peak and then it just went down from there.
Yeah. Which, like, they still sell a lot, but it's like
Black
sales have been going
sells
down,
like a few million copies a year, I think,
which is
it's
good. And you know, it seems like, because like Activision, like EA and like Ubisoft have kind of been shitting themselves for the last like couple years at this point, in every imaginable way, in more ways than one, you know?
Yeah. What games have Ubisoft been up to? I'm trying to think even. Yeah, Ubisoft. I don't know. It's not popping into
Far
my head.
Cry games and Far Cry likes.
Oh yeah.
They've been making Assassin's Creeds and they've been making Far Cries. But I think because what they've done, all three companies more or less have, EA a bit less so, but definitely with Ubisoft and Activision, they put all their eggs in one basket. And now that basket has fallen apart and all their eggs have fallen on the floor and smashed.
Yeah,
you know? And so it's kind of really biting them in the ass to only actually
it's really
be
shocking with Activision because they had like stuff like what Vicarious Vision and Toys for Bob put out, like Crash 4 and like the Tony Hawk Remaster. Those sold super well and they were incredible.
Yeah.
But for some reason they want to put all their eggs in the COD.
Yeah.
Like this series that, I mean, yeah, it's still like arguably a juggernaut like sales wise, but it's not what it used to be and it never will be.
Yeah. It feels like like if say Lay's decided to stop selling all their different flavors of potato chips because their regular potato chips sell the best. So why even bother making the other flavors?
Yeah.
You know, that's what it feels like. Where it's just like they're gimping themselves for no reason. And it's starting to really come back to bite them in the ass because people are getting sick of it.
Mhm.
You know, they want those other flavors and they're not offering them. And so they're going to other places to get them. And
Yeah.
now those companies are starting to, feel that.
I mean, it's like, yeah, like why, like you're like average Joe Schmo that just used to be the person who just plays COD. They don't exist anymore. They just go play like Apex or Fortnite, or
Exactly. You know?
they're not going to go pick up a brand new Xbox and a brand new COD game for $60. That's just not how the industry works anymore.
Yeah. And the people who do really like COD still and still are into it are just playing Warzone. You know,
Yeah.
they have their one Call of Duty game that's gonna stay around forever. They don't need the
Yeah.
rest. I think Activision should have just been like, okay, here's Call of Duty Warzone. This is the Call of Duty game we're gonna have for the next 10 years. We're gonna just keep doing this. And I think that
Yeah,
would have worked out way better for them.
I think they just have a development pipeline that's just been so strict for like the last 15 years. We know they have like 2 or 3 studios that like keep working on and off, like constantly working on a new COD game.
Yeah.
And like they can't, it's just like it's too big to stop now without like destroying the company.
Yeah. And it's just like, why not
restructure
just
like
have
the entire company?
Warzone and then have your other studios make
Yeah.
Tony
Let
Hawk and
Vicarious
Crash
Visions make some
Bandicoot and
freaking games again.
Spyro. You know,
Apparently, they just news just broke that Vicarious Visions was working on a Tony Hawk 3+4 remaster after 1+2 one, and Activision cut the plug on it. Which
that's fucking sad.
They were also, I believe, Toys for Bob and stuff was working on a original Spyro game because they did Spyro Master and made Crash 4. So they're like, oh, let's do Spyro, and now that's never happening.
Disappointing.
Yeah. Well, no, man, it's got depressing at the end. We're just talking about lame game stuff.
Yeah. We were talking about Resident Evil 4 or something. I don't remember.
I don't remember because we
there wasn't anything to talk about in Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, we got nothing. They showed us Leon walking around.
It looks like the same game, more or less.
It looks like the same game, a bit more horror focused.
Yeah.
But then again, a lot of original RE4's marketing didn't really tip its hand that it was like an action game, so who knows?
Know. It feels weird because I'm kind of, I don't know. Like, there's 2 sides of me with the Resident Evil 4 remake. It's like one side of like, this doesn't need to exist. And the other side is I'm worried they're gonna kind of fuck it up by taking away the campiness that makes the game fun. You know?
Yeah.
Where it's just like...
I don't know. 2 remake and like Village are so great. Like, I kind of have some faith there. Like, I don't think they... Like, RE3 remakes kind of meh, but that was just because it was rushed.
Yeah, they like really should have given RE3 remake more time in the oven, overall. Especially, and they shouldn't have bothered even trying to do the stupid multiplayer mode that they
I don't know what they're thinking.
That was dumb. They should have just been like, they shouldn't have even bothered like devoting any resources to that. They should have just focused on the main campaign and done it better and given it more development time.
I was infinitely more interested in just like Resident Evil stuff being in Dead by Daylight than any actual multiplayer Resident Evil game.
Yeah. I think the reason why they rushed 3 out the door was they were really, really worried about next gen, right?
Yeah.
And in hindsight, obviously that worry was like completely unfounded.
Yeah.
Because it's like they could have spent more time on Resident Evil 3 remake and it would not have hurt the bottom line at all, really,
Yeah, I mean, 2. I think 2 remakes still. From what I know, that still sells. Like, people still buy that.
Oh,
like,
of course, yeah. This is like the reason why I think they rushed it out the door was like, okay, we have all these assets from Resident Evil 2 remake, right? And so obviously the logical conclusion is to quickly make Resident Evil 3 remake utilizing these assets in the engine and stuff. And they were worried that next gen was right around the corner and they needed to finish Resident Evil 3 remake before next gen hit. Otherwise, then they'd have to try and make it for next gen right?
Yeah.
And then they were worried they would have to redo a lot of stuff for like next gen assets and shit. And
Yeah.
they were worried that that might like correlate and like be bad timing. So they kind of rushed out the door. That's what I think they did, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that is
And
probably pretty likely.
and in retrospect, they definitely didn't need to do that because while next gen is here, no one owns the consoles yet because no one can buy them because there's a chip shortage and they can't produce enough and everybody's scalping them because they aren't selling them in stores.
But
Eh,
that, and they apparently took the wrong lessons from Mr. X. Like, because like early reviews for this stuff, people didn't like Mr. X, and then really quickly people completely flipped their heads. Like, Mr. X is like the best part of this game, and he
yeah.
is. But they were
Well,
like, I think they
yeah.
started development of, oh, people don't like Mr. X. Let's make Nemesis less oppressive, even though the whole
Yeah.
point of Nemesis is
He's a more
he's
oppressive Mr. X.
yeah, he's fucking Nemesis. He's like, yeah, it's. But in 3, he occasionally shows up in a scripted event. You run away, and
Yeah.
that's it.
To be fair, in the
It's
original Resident Evil 3, Nemesis was fairly scripted, you know?
he was, but I think that was more for tech reasons than anything.
Exactly.
They couldn't really do a roaming character in like a game like that.
Although I don't mind it they didn't make him roaming in 3 just because, you know, if it's a remake and they just did it like that was in the original, it's fine, you know?
Yeah. Although they cut a lot of stuff for the original as well,
Which
so
is
it's like
disappointing, you know?
Yeah.
What's more disappointing for me, though, is the fact that there just isn't any ports of the original's first 3 Resident Evil games. And here's the thing. The reason why is because porting those games would be a big pain in the ass.
Because
I
yeah,
know
the
Capcom has
background's long.
said that a lot before, that it's just like, it's too hard to do.
Yeah, like I doubt they have backups in the background. Like the only reason we have the GameCube remake is because they had 4K backgrounds on like a hard drive somewhere. Those
Yeah.
probably don't exist for the PS1 games.
Yeah. And like,
So
that's
they-
the thing where it's like, you know, that's why they decided to do the remakes instead. Because they're like,
Yeah.
we can probably make more money selling remakes of them anyway. So let's just do that. You know?
There is Resident Evil 1, the director's cut, the PS1 version,
Mm-hmm.
is on PS4 now. It was just released with the new PlayStation Plus.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
Although,
if
isn't the director's version like kind of worse in a lot of ways?
the music,
I know
has
it
the
added
bad music.
DualShock controls.
Yeah, it has DualShock controls and a bit more content. Like I
Yeah.
think the game's like slightly longer, so it's half. Okay, the thing about RE1 is that there's no real reason to play it other than the remake because the remake's pretty faithful.
Yeah.
But
like,
RE2 and 3
yeah.
are completely different games.
Yeah.
They're still really fun. I really hope those end up getting ports now.
Yeah. That like RE2 and RE3 are both definitely cases of the originals are just as good in a lot of ways. You know, it's worth playing both.
Yeah,
Because,
they're very different.
especially Resident Evil 2, because both are landmark titles in their respective genres, you know?
Yeah.
In a lot of sense.
2's aged well. I played
It has.
2 like years ago, and it's still fun.
The original 2 is like one of the most important survival horror games
Yeah.
ever released, you know?
Yeah. It took 1 and made it even better.
Yeah. It is a big step up from the original Resident Evil 1.
Yeah. But yeah, Resident Evil,
Yeah.
it's a good
But
series.
speaking of like the next gen stuff in Resident Evil, because going back to my point of like they didn't really need to worry about next gen and stuff, they did announce during the Capcom event when they were talking about Resident Evil that Resident Evil 2 remake and 3 remake and Village are all getting free next gen updates.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. They should get me a next gen update of our remake where they go and re-render those backgrounds. Go do that, Capcom. I mean, if they look that good at 2001, I really just want to see what they could render nowadays. I mean, we're getting close now that we have real-time ray tracing. We could just do that in real time, but still.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, there was like a bunch of indie events. I didn't really watch all of them. I know there was like the Wholesome Direct, apparently, from what I've heard.
Oh yeah, I thought
There
it
was
was
a
a
lot
joke at
of
first.
no, they do those annually.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's for about uwu indie games.
I enjoy some uwu indie games.
Yeah,
From time to time.
yeah. Apparently, from what I've heard, there was a lot of frog themed games.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There was the Day of the Devs, which I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't really
And
watch it. I need to go back and watch the indie ones because they probably had way more cooler games.
yeah. I don't know. Any other gaming news?
No, I think that's it. This was
uh,
okay.
yeah.
I don't
It
think
was
we
a.
got too controversial in any of my takes. I did kind of say Uncharted was poop, but
Oh, the Sony fans are gonna fucking rip you apart for that one. You better
you know
watch
what?
out.
I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I'm the real Sony fan here.
You are, but you're not. I mean, you have a PS5 actually, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, Sony, they fell off. They used to have games, but after the
Because they got rid of
PS3,
Japan
they
Studio.
had no games,
You don't got Bloodborne anymore because that was the system of Japan Studios. We ain't getting another Bloodborne,
See, the
people.
PS2 had games, but then when you went to the PS3, PS3 had no games.
Yeah.
And then on the PS4, same thing. No games. You got PS5, no games.
Mm-hmm.
All I got are these movies. I don't want to play a movie.
I know.
It's funny though, because the two PS3 games in existence, right? Little Big Planet 2 and Fat Princess, are both games you can't really play anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When's Sony gonna try and do another stupid handheld?
Never.
To get that burned with the Vita.
Oh hell yeah, they got burned. I think back to like the PS4 and all the games I bought on it, and I can like count them all in like a single hand, basically.
I remember the PS4 pretty fondly. I don't know.
I know.
I still buy games on it.
Specifically, like exclusives, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even buy that many multiplats for my PS4, but when it comes to exclusives, the only PS4 exclusives I actually bought were like Ratchet and Clank Remake, which I didn't really like, and Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I kind of found to be fairly overrated. Still good, just not literally the best game ever made type shit,
I think it's the second best Souls game. Which
I think
is
it's the second worst
high praise.
Souls game.
The second worst? Really?
Yeah, my Souls game ranking would definitely go from like worst to best. Would definitely go Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, Demon Souls, Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 1, and then Elden Ring. Not counting Sekiro on that list, keep in mind.
Yeah, I haven't spent enough time on Demon Souls.
Yeah. I mean, like, Bloodborne to me is just worse Demon Souls. I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
I just find it to be worse Demon Souls because it has all the mechanics that I hated from Demon Souls with none of the mechanics that I liked from Demon Souls.
Yeah.
So it's just this really bland mend of like, it's the things you don't like from Dark Souls 3 with the things you don't like from Demon Souls fused together. And it's great.
And then there's Dark Souls 2, which is like all the bad parts of 1 and Demon Souls in a horrible amalgamation.
Dark Souls 2 is just not good overall. It's like the problem.
It's not even a bad game.
No, I would say it's a bad game. I'd say it's a 1 out of 4.
Dark Souls 2 is fun, and it's a solid action RPG.
I mean, like, okay. It like if you're going on a 10 scale, it's like about a 5 or a 6 out of 10.
No,
but if you're going out of the 4 scale, it's a 1 out of 4.
No, I think Dark Souls 2 is like I'd give that like a 7 or an 8, just because the other Dark Souls games are like 9 or 10s. Like,
I mean, I get that. However, if I had to choose between playing Dark Souls 2 and playing any other game, I would never pick Dark Souls 2. Like, in my mindset right now is, do I ever want to replay Dark Souls 2 again? And the answer to that is no. So therefore, it's a 1 out of 4. You know? It's just like, here's my things with Dark Souls 2. It's like, it's got bad animations. It's got bad level design. It's got bad enemy placement. It's got bad RPG mechanics. It's got bad lore. There's nothing to it. Yeah. Like, I don't see any redeeming qualities in Dark Souls 2, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it's got some cool spells, but having, like, an okay magic system is not going to save you from having terrible level design.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just me. It's like,
when's Dark Souls 2 gonna come out? That'd be the best game ever.
I want to, like, for all the Bloodborne guys, right? You know, it's like, I understand why people like Bloodborne, but I hope you understand that everything you like about Bloodborne, I do not care about. Right? It's like, I don't care for the faster paced combat. I personally like the slower paced combat of Dark Souls 1. Right?
Yeah.
I don't care about the setting that much. I think it's neat, but I think overall, like, levels wise, it's too repetitive. I feel like there's too many levels that feel too similar to each other.
Yeah. There's
like, it's like there is a decent amount of variety, but it feels like half of the levels all feel the same.
Yeah.
Where half the levels all feel like Central Yarnum or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the other half don't. But half of those other half levels are like locked behind secret areas or DLC or some shit, you know?
Yeah, there's some cool ones like the forest, which has big balls of snakes.
Yeah, the forest was okay, but that was like the first level I got to in the entire game that was like actually was visually different.
Oh, and then there's that castle with like the eye in a distance that like obliterates you.
Yeah, that's another level that was different. But it's like, you gotta keep in mind, those are the only 3 levels in the game that are actually different.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, because I'm not counting that one library level, because that level's like 10 minutes long. That level's
it's like, really cool though.
It's a cool level, but it's like obscenely short. You know?
Yeah.
And like another, my biggest problem with Bloodborne overall is the lack of like weapon variety. And it's like, no matter what weapon you pick and what build you do, the game plays the exact same.
So it's
it's weird why it's even an RPG at all. Like, why is this even an action RPG if the RPG mechanics don't matter, you know?
They all have like the same like fast-paced like beat 'em up feel, but I feel like they all do feel very different.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, the thing. It's like, it feels like picking a different weapon in DMC.
Yeah,
sense,
yeah. Like, if they cut down,
it's like, are these movesets different? Yes. Does they matter though? No.
Yeah, like, it might have worked even better if they cut even further back on the RPG elements and just made it like you really like have the freedom to play with the weapons bar. Like, which I guess Sekiro, that was just,
that's what I'm saying. It's like, why not go more
RPG
Sekiro
elements
approach? You know, I don't see why there's any RPG elements at all in Bloodborne. They don't do anything. They don't add anything to the game. You know,
yeah.
No matter how you build your character, you're gonna play the game the exact same. If you want to go for a really wacky, you know, like a blood tinge build or something like that, you can't really, because in order to use any of the weapons or items those builds require, you have to play through halfway through the game.
Yeah.
Like, so much shit is like locked to like end game shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, if I want to do a playthrough with a specific weapon, I have to play through 80% of the game in order to get that weapon. You know? If I wanted to do a playthrough of Bloodborne with like the scythe or the katana, I basically have to beat the entire fucking game with a weapon I don't want to use in order to do a playthrough with it. And I would only then get to use it in New Game Plus. That's like my biggest problem with Bloodborne, is I wanted to use the scythe for my playthrough, right?
Yeah.
Which is the weapon you get for killing the final boss. So in order to get the weapon I wanted to play through the game with, I had to play through the entire fucking game with a weapon I didn't like in order to get the weapon I wanted.
See, if you look at Bloodborne more like a beat 'em up, like hack and slash thing, and just view something like the Scythe as like, oh, here's the cool reward you get for beating the game. Like that, I'm like, I'm more fan of it. But if you look at it like an RPG, then it's like, yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, and I do look at it as an RPG because it is an RPG.
Yeah,
You know? So it's like
Yeah.
that's what annoys me about Bloodborne. It's like I do think about like wanting to replay Bloodborne, but the only thought in my head is like, well, if I wanted to do another build, it would have to be with that katana weapon you get in like Canehurst Castle or whatever.
Mhm.
But I would then have to make it all the way to Canehurst Castle in order to get the katana, which means I would have to do another playthrough where I play through the entire game with a threaded cane because there's no fucking skill bit weapons besides the threaded cane for 80% of the fucking game. And I already did that on my first playthrough for the entire fucking game, you know?
Yep.
And so I'm just
Yep.
thinking, okay, so then I would just play through the game again in the exact same way I did last time. And that just doesn't sound
Oh
fun
my-
to me. Because the fun part of replaying the Souls games is doing different builds, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
playing through the game in a drastically different way, you know?
Yeah.
So that's just me with Bloodborne, where it's just like, I find it disappointing in a lot of aspects. Where I'm like,
I get you.
they should have just made it more like Sekiro. Because I don't have these problems with Sekiro because it's just an action stealth game, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know.
weird Bloodborne tangent over. And so is E3, I guess.
It's
Maybe
still
Nintendo will
Nintendo.
do something later. I
That's
don't
been
care.
weird.
We'll cover Nintendo in their own thing. I don't care. This was a not E3.
Hope you enjoyed.
Yes. Oh boy.